can spend so much time preparing or saying you're gonna do something, but if you don't actually do it, you're not going anywhere. I've been kind of known to, play music or whatever, and people be like, where do I find your stuff? And for years, that was the question. And I'm like, I am working on it. And that just doesn't go anywhere, Just releasing stuff and staying on top of it and having something, constantly is awesome.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 60 of the Andrew Deitch podcast. Let's just give that a moment to soak in. Episode 60. It's been 6 months since I launched the podcast. And to be honest, I didn't really know what it'd be like to get to episode 60. Didn't really think about what it would feel like, but it's kind of weird. But like you heard in the intro, felt kind of the same way about stuff. People are always asking what's going on, what's happening with your life. You're not in school anymore. What's up? You working? What are you up to? And it's been really satisfying to put my time and energy into this project. I think most people shoot too low and don't put anything out there into the world. And I think a lot of people would, maybe do one podcast a week or once a month starting out. But I have the mindset that you just got to plow into it full force. And it hasn't been easy, but it's been really rewarding. And people are really enjoying what I'm putting out. I'm trying to keep putting out good content. And so to all of you who've been supporting me over the last 6 months, thank you guys so much. It really means a lot to me. But if this is your first time listening to the show, welcome. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for checking it out. Checking in, checking out. I don't know. But in a nutshell, I try to have fun and interesting conversations with creators, innovators, entrepreneurs, movers and shakers, basically anybody that I find fascinating. And I know podcasts are getting very, very trendy nowadays, but I'm not just here to jump on the bandwagon. I'm here to stay. And I know that there are a million other things out there you could be listening to right now. And that fact never escapes me. So thank you guys for giving it a shot. I hope you all enjoy it. So let's just get into the show. My guest today is my new friend, Isaiah Ram. And Isaiah is the man behind the musical project Sci-Fi Sun. He just released the EP 20 Years that he wrote, produced, recorded, sang, mixed, and released all by himself. And the EP is called 20 Years because, you guessed it, he's only 20 years old. Crazy, right? Isaiah reached out to me a couple weeks ago. He heard the podcast that I did with Macy Todd. Interestingly enough, his girlfriend Danielle is Macy's roommate. So anyways, I wanted to check out his music because obviously I don't want to endorse any music that I don't actually enjoy. So I took a listen and I was really impressed, and even more impressed when I found out that Isaiah had pretty much done it all himself, and really great stuff. Some of his songs have been stuck in my head the past couple of days, and I'm not complaining. So during the podcast, we talked about his upbringing, being homeschooled, how he got into music, his new EP, his upcoming world travels, and all kinds of other fun stuff. So you're probably wondering, okay, this guy has an EP, blah, blah, blah. Andrew says it's good, but I'll be the judge of that. And luckily, you don't have to take my word for it because you guys are in for a treat. I'm going to play you 2 songs from his new EP, one at the end of the podcast and one right now. And I had a hard time actually choosing the songs because I really do enjoy them all, but I finally made my decision, and I'm going to start off with my favorite song from the EP called Alibi, featuring his girlfriend, Danielle Williams. I hope you all enjoy it as much as I do, and I'll talk to you guys at the end.
Your eyes are blue, my hopes in you. I think you know what I'm alluding to. It's falling ground all around. Your foundation's coming down. In the end, were they your friends? Or was it all pretend? Do people get a second chance? You don't have an alibi to prove you ever loved just now your priority. It's not about when, it's not about how, it's about who you love right now. It's not about when, it's not about how, it's about who you love right now. Who you love right now. It's not about when, it's not about how, it's about who you love right now. Who you love right now. It's not about when, it's not about how, it's about who you love right now. You don't have an alibi to prove you ever loved me all this time. No one's ever too busy. I'm just now your priority. You were my everything. You were my everything. You were my everything. You were my everything.
And away we go.
Right on.
That's the first time we've ever started a podcast with "and away we go." I kind of like that though. Just felt natural. It felt good. Felt good. But what's up, dude? So this is Isaiah. Is your last name Ram? Just
It's
Ram?
actually not Ram, so it's really long. It's Ram Kalawan,
Okay,
but that confuses people, and Ram is way simpler and easier, and yeah.
that makes sense.
People used to make fun of me in high school. They'd call me Rumpelstiltskin,
Ah,
so I just keep it Ram.
I feel you.
Avoid
You
that.
know what I was thinking? Your mic is actually kind of a little bit low. Let's just get it a little bit closer because I feel like sometimes when you're on top of the mic, it sounds better. But not to interrupt the flow of this introduction, this beautiful introduction.
How's it sound? Is it better?
That's probably good.
Cool.
I was just thinking it was just a little bit low. But yeah, because I looked on your Instagram and it said Isaiah Ram. I'm like, that name sounds a little bit too short. Like I feel like he artistically shortened that. But
Yeah.
I can completely understand. My last name isn't the easiest to.
How do you pronounce it?
It's Deitch.
Deitch. Okay.
Just like one syllable, Deitch. But
what's the
it looks
origins
confusing. It is German.
of that? Okay.
Yes. So
Cool.
I don't speak any German. Everyone always asks me that. As soon as they say, "Oh, it's German. Do you speak German?" I'm like, 9. No, I do not speak any German. I can count to 8, but that's about it. But anyways, that doesn't really matter that much. But that's funny. When did you change? I guess it's
When
not
was the
really
transition
changed,
from
but when
when
was
I-
the transition?
When I got Facebook, I don't know, it was just so complicated and people always messed it up. And
Say it one more time. How do you say it?
Ram Kalawan.
Ram Kalawan.
Yeah, that's good.
What is the origin of your last name?
It's Indian. Well, my dad's from Trinidad and Tobago, but then his great ancestors are from India. They were brought over as slaves by the British. So, yeah, technically it's Indian.
Interesting.
I don't speak.
You don't
Indian.
speak Indian.
I think it's
Whatever the language
whatever
is.
the language is.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
I
gonna
should know.
say
I feel
something.
bad that I don't know.
I'm gonna I was gonna throw something out there. I'm like, I'm just gonna sound more dumb than I already sound, so I'm just not gonna say anything. But that's really funny, man. So so we got connected because you heard one of my podcasts with Macy, right?
I did, yeah.
And you know Macy because of her roommate's boyfriend.
Well, it's funny because I've known Macy. I knew her in what was it? My first year of college. I met her through a friend, mutual friend of ours, and then I lost contact with her for a couple years, and then started dating this person who lived with her like 3 years later, and then we got reconnected. So it's
That's
funny.
cool.
Yeah,
That's very interesting. I just it's weird because sometimes the podcasts, like I'll record a bunch of them in a row, so it's like spaced out. But I recorded the one with Macy like pretty recently.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of cool how like things just work out like that, where the universe or God or whoever you want to say brings people together. And makes the podcast happen. That's what it's all for.
Yeah.
No, but that's really cool, man. So just so people have like some context, just kind of like, you know, in a broad sense, just what do you do? Like what's your thing? What are you doing?
Yeah. So I love music. Let's just start there. I love music. Been playing since forever. And I recently this year decided to start doing something with that and actually releasing stuff. And the first step for me was recording this project that I, like I said, just re-released. And I'm in a band. That's just me. I'm also doing stuff at like church, and I'm writing songs with my girlfriend, and then I'm collaborating with other artists. But at the end of the day, right now, it's music, getting through school, doing that whole deal.
Nice.
So,
I feel you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So your releasing artist title is Sci-Fi. Wait, what is it again? I'm so
Sci-Fi
sorry.
Sun, yeah. That's
Sci-Fi
That's
Sun.
one of them.
Yes.
I want to do more.
And is it a band, or is it just you, or is it like you playing multiple things?
It's open-ended. Right now, the first project release is just me. It is a band, but it's just me, so it's not a band, I guess. It's me playing everything.
Me, myself, and I.
Me, myself, and I. Not to
That's
say
cool.
that it could become a band, but
Yeah, but that's cool. So like on the EP that you released, you played everything,
Yeah.
you recorded everything, you wrote everything.
everything.
Did you master everything too?
I didn't do the mastering.
Okay,
but
I was just
wanted
curious.
to. I did the mixing, all that. Mastering, I went through one of my distributors, so.
Awesome. Yeah,
But-
I was gonna say I feel like it's pretty uncommon to master. Like if you know, most people give it to someone else to master it.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because you want it to sound good at the end of the day, of course.
Hopefully, that's-
once it's going into people's earphones,
There's pressure.
you want it to sound as good as possible. That's awesome, man. That's actually really, really, really challenging because most people don't think about that. That you know when
Right.
you put out an EP, like you know how many people are involved, or if you put
Yeah.
out an album or anything
How
like
many
that.
hands it goes through and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, of course. And so I'm of the belief that I like to have as few hands as possible because I want to know like what that artist's trying to actually say.
Yeah.
You know, like when you hear a song on the radio, it's like, well, is that real? Who
Did they
wrote
write
that
it?
song?
Who produced it? Who had their hand in it?
Yeah, exactly. And so when you hear, you know, for example, one that comes to mind, but a totally other end of the spectrum for me is like Dead Mouse.
Okay.
Like I know is like so he wants whatever the final product like so much to just be his that
Yeah.
he'll even like go to the lengths of making the album artwork and everything.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And that's obviously a totally different style, totally different genre, all of that. But it's interesting because like he's called out people in the past like Justin Bieber and all this stuff where saying like you're listening to his album, but the only thing that he actually contributed is his voice.
Yeah.
He didn't make the music. He didn't write the
Yeah.
lyrics. He didn't produce it. He didn't mix it. He didn't master it. He didn't make the album artwork. All of he's actually doing
He's
is just
glorified in
singing.
a super high place.
Yeah, of course.
Frustrating. Yeah.
It is very frustrating, and that's why he's like, you know, you have to appreciate an artist who can do everything, do it all, because it's like their artistic vision. That's why I really appreciate like YouTube. Like I don't know if you watch Casey Neistat. I talked about Casey Neistat on
in
Macy's
Macy's, right? Yeah.
podcast. But Casey's like one of those guys where he makes like really cinematic vlogs and stuff, and then he puts them out there, and there's no middleman. Like there's no one like
That
telling him
cool,
like
yeah.
trying to tweak his story. Like it's just him self-filming, putting it out. So it's really cool that you can make something and put it out as yourself. Like
Yeah.
that's really dope.
As much as I can keep it original.
Yeah, of course. Like I mean, that's
mastering
the goal,
part,
right? You know,
yeah.
you don't want.
I mean, I'd like to learn mastering and do that myself, but that was the only step. In the
That's
process.
really cool. I
So,
mean, and that's less of a. I feel like less of a creative step of it. It's more of
Technical
like a technical,
stuff, yeah.
making sure. And for people that are listening that don't know what mastering is, the way that it's been described to me is just making sure that all the levels of volume and like
Yeah.
the noise levels are all equalized to a point where it's normalized across like all songs.
cohesive.
Yeah. and like you're not listening to your iPod and then all of a sudden one song's really quiet and the next song's really loud. Like
Right.
you want them to all be kind of the same level of loudness. But anyways, I personally believe that like everyone has a story. Everyone can learn something from everybody. So if you don't mind, like if you can kind of just take people back a little bit, like, you know, you said you always were into music, but like before that, you know, how did you figure that out? And like, when did all that happen?
Yeah. It's really funny because it's close to Christmas time, and I was at the mall. We were talking about Christmas with one of my friends, and we were talking about childhood Christmas gifts. And one of my gifts that I remember was my first guitar when I was like 7, I think.
Wow.
And I started lessons shortly after that, and that's kind of where it started. I've like grown up in the church my whole life, and so what's cool about church is that there's always music involved.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I started taking lessons, and at first it was just, you know, me doing lessons and half-heartedly kind of playing guitar, but not really thinking anything of it. And
Were your parents musical at all, or did they just
No.
think like,
not at all.
why did they get you a guitar then, or who got you the guitar?
I really don't know. I think it was my mom's idea.
Huh.
I think her family might be musical, but she's not per se. I think she's
Do you
in,
have
like,
siblings?
choir. I do have a sister. She's musical.
Younger?
Yeah, she's 16.
Okay, cool.
So.
But so when you got the guitar though, she was like 1 or something, right? Like she was real young.
Yeah.
If you got it when you were like 7.
Yeah, she was.
So she was like
Toddler,
a couple
so-
years old, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of interesting that your mom just decided to get you a guitar. That's kind of cool though.
Yeah, I think it was at that time. My mom was in like a bunch of friend groups with all these moms who were making their kids learn music, and so we all started like it was just a thing to do, you know, like buy lessons and buy them an instrument and just have them bang on it. And for her, it was like, I don't want to get him a drum set because that's gonna be annoying. And
Of course.
I think she asked me if I wanted to do guitar or piano, and for some reason I just wanted to. I knew of, you know, rock stars, you know, shredding guitar, and I was like, I want to be that guy if I had to. So
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I guess that's where it started. I don't know. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, I feel you. Most people, if they have, I feel like most guys, like if they have the choice between like piano and guitar, they're kind of thinking like, I don't really know that many famous pianists, but I definitely know a lot of rock stars.
Right.
So I'm going guitar.
Yeah. So I guess maybe when I was like 12 or 13, still playing at church and stuff. Had one of those guys in my life. He was like 2 or 3 years older than me. He was also at my church, and his name's Sam Lindholm. Actually, a lot of people don't know this about me.
What's his name?
Sam Lindholm. He's,
Nice.
I don't know, a lot of people don't know that about me, and so they realize, oh wow, this guy inspired me to play music. I just want to do a shout out to him.
Shout out to Sam.
He, I don't know, he was the first guy to be like, you know, you can like write songs and you can record songs, and that idea was so foreign to me. Like I'd always been used to playing other people's music and, you know, just playing around with some chords. I never had the idea of like, oh wow, artists, like the guys that I'm listening to, they're actually writing music. They're actually like making up stuff and writing words down that mean something to them, and they're able to record it and document it in their life. And that was kind of the age, like 12, 13, where that was like born inside of me. And I just started messing around with ideas and lyrics and trying to put my heart, you know, on paper, as they say.
Yeah, of course.
And yeah,
As much as you can.
as much as I can, and just developing my skill as a guitarist. And through that time, I ended up like picking up drums, and I would just like grab my iPod and try to bang along with some of these songs, and had to pick up piano here and there. And I would say that I'm not like the best at every instrument, but I know enough to kind of get around, and eventually like here I am making music as best I can.
That's awesome, man. So were you playing in your church's like band and stuff?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like it's very interesting how, like you said, at church, like there's always music.
Mm-hmm.
It's very fascinating how much experience you can get by playing in your church's band, because like you basically have a show every weekend.
Yeah.
And like there's if it's like a big church, like there's typically pretty high production value.
Right.
And so you get kind of used to like what it's like to have to go
like,
up and play.
When I think
and stuff.
about how people are like at a young age, like how people are introduced to music, it's either like high school band, church, and then like what else would
I mean, I feel like now a lot of it would be like coming up rapping, like trying to like imitate,
make beats,
like yeah, because
Right.
now a lot of it is kind of like there was this barricade of entry where it's like, crap, I don't have a guitar, so guess I won't learn guitar.
Yeah.
You know, but now it's kind of like
I have an
want to
Apple
make
MacBook, so I'm gonna
yeah.
drop
It's like
a beat.
I have a MacBook and it has GarageBand. Like I'm gonna try to like make
Yeah.
something, and then it evolves to, you know, whatever Fruity Loop Studio or whatever it
Right,
ends up being,
right.
where you're like making beats. And so,
in some ways, like that's been awesome.
or
Also
even
harmful,
freaking
but-
on an iPod or an iPhone.
Nowadays, yeah, you can do anything.
You can definitely.
Yeah.
I know of people that make beats on their phone and just like,
Yeah.
and then there's an app where you can record over it, and then you got a freestyle rap, and then you put it on YouTube, and then your friends laugh at you, and you know,
Yeah.
whatever, you know.
But-
it's kind of cool though, because you've got a freaking 20 years ago, the technology was just not there, and nowadays, like you literally have the equivalent of very low end studio on your
Yeah.
phone. Like you could,
Exactly.
you could, if you had to, throw together like an entire
definitely.
song on your phone if you wanted to. But anyways, that's just a fascinating part of being in the time period that we're in now.
Millennials.
Yo, those millennials with their
How old are you?
technology.
I didn't ask this earlier.
What? I'm 23.
23. Cool.
So not super old, not super young, I guess. I don't know.
guess.
It's kind of a weird age.
Such a weird age.
Yeah, 23, like nothing happens when you turn 23. You're just like, well, it's another year now.
Right.
But
I was
something
thinking about, I don't know, it's just off topic. 18 to 25, I feel like if someone says like they're 19 or they're 20 or 21, those are all like, they mean so many different things. Like some friends are getting married, some are
yeah.
just now doing whatever, like getting a job, some are finishing school, some are in prison. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just fascinating to me how.
Yeah. It is really crazy. You know, it's a big transitionary period, and everyone's trying to figure their life out, you know? Because you've got certain things you want to cling to. There's certain changes that need to happen. Nobody really wants to go through change, you know, but change obviously brings growth and all that. But, you know, you'll see a lot of the, you know, for me, for example, one of the biggest things for, like, growing up for me was, like, changing the way, like, trying to intentionally dress better, too. Like, because, you know, it's easy just to throw on a t-shirt and some athletic shorts and, like, some sneakers and just, like, walk out the door.
Sure.
But then it's like, oh, I feel kind of embarrassed in this social situation because everyone looks cool.
Right.
And I look like a dweeb.
I have to be hipster and
Yeah.
impress.
Yeah. And, like,
It's exhausting, dude.
yeah,
It's
man.
so
The
exhausting.
biggest thing for me was when I went overseas, like and I was
Where'd you go overseas?
I was an au pair
Okay.
in Italy first for one summer, and then I was an au pair in Spain for one summer. So I was basically like a nanny for a family where I took care of their
cool.
kids. But I realized, I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, but like especially when I was in Italy, I noticed it. But then when I went to Spain, it was like more noticeable where I would go out in public or I was with the family or whatever, and they all looked like very well put together. All their
Yeah.
clothes are like fitted nicely. And it wasn't necessarily about the brand names or anything, because a lot of their clothes were not like, you know, Gucci or
Not the high end.
Ferragamo or Versace or anything like that. It was just that they fit them really well. And I was like, dang, I'd never really like went out to buy clothes with the intention of, does this actually like fit me well? It was more like, does this shirt have a cool logo on it? Sweet, I'm wearing it.
I want that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was like a big transition for me changing. Okay, now I gotta stop being a little kid and just wearing whatever. Like I gotta try a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, man. Like those years the years that we're in are very interesting. How old are you?
I just turned 20.
Just
back
turned
in,
20.
August. Yeah.
Very nice. So can't drink yet, but it's okay.
Yes. Right. Right.
I'm just messing with you. So but that's cool, man. A lot of people when they're 20 are not like putting out an EP, man. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
Like and I think a lot of people they want to ask they don't want to like put something out because they're afraid like, oh well, like I know guys that are way more talented than me that have
Sure.
never put out an EP.
Sure.
Or like for me, like I've always been kind of hesitant to put things out because I'm like, are people gonna think I'm like trying too hard or like, you know,
Right.
like who does this guy think he is, kind of thing. I think that was also something that was kind of holding me back, kind of what I was saying with dressing better too. It's like once you start kind of dressing a little bit better, people are kind of like, oh, what's this? What's he doing?
Yeah.
Why
He's
is he?
changing it up. He's
why is he trying so hard?
Right.
Stuff like that. But yeah, it is a weird weird zone of years because you have all your friends start to like do all kinds of different things, like you said, which is odd. But so you just turned 20. But before that, let's go back. So you were homeschooled throughout all of this, right? Were you homeschooled through high school?
I did a co-op.
Okay. So that's like,
So it was like
some
it was kind of
parents
like college.
teach.
Like we go to school one day a week. My mom didn't help me during that time because she didn't know how to do really intense calculus or whatever. So it was a one day a week thing. I still did my schoolwork at home, and
So you went to school one day and got all your assignments, and then the next week you reconvened at that place. Was it like another parent organizing all this, or was it actually like a separate deal?
It was a private organization.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I did a similar thing when I was younger. I was homeschooled, and I think, what was it called? It was Veritas. Have you ever heard of Veritas before?
I haven't, no.
I think
Mine
they
was
went all the
called
way up till
Ardios.
high school. What'd you say?
Ardios was what mine was called.
Ardios? Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically it was like you went one day a week, got all your assignments, and then because I was much younger, obviously my mom could help me and stuff. So then, but so that's really cool, man. So since you were homeschooled, like you said, you kind of just, once you were done with your assignments, you kind of got to do whatever you wanted, right?
Right. Which
is like every kid's dream.
Exactly. Video games and music. And,
What video games were you playing?
ooh, I had a PlayStation 2, which was, in my opinion, one of the best systems. So like Battlefront was my game, and I also had a GameCube, so obviously Mario Kart.
I was about to say
Smash.
Mario Kart Double Dash.
Oh yeah, that was the game. That was the game for sure.
Smash Bros. Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
So much nostalgia for everyone.
Who was your main when you played Smash?
Oh, that's a good question.
You can tell a lot about person about who their main
I
is.
always, for some reason, went towards Samus, which is weird.
Samus, okay.
Which is an interesting...
She had like some tactful kind of
I liked
moves
Samus because you could like save up that giant ball and like charge it up, and then
so
once you
cool.
like came up to someone, just blast them with the giant ball.
Right.
And that was always fun for me. My mom was a lot more strict with video games, so the only times I actually got to like play video games a lot was when I went to my friends' houses. But my neighbors had a PS2 and a PS1, and I think they had a GameCube at one point. But some of my other friends had GameCube, so obviously, like whenever I went over to their houses, I'd play.
Yeah.
But that was kind of my mom's reasoning, was like, you play enough when you're over there, like you don't need to play video games here. And so my mom was very restrictive over video games, so I played outside a lot.
Got you.
But hey, I'm not complaining about that by any means, because eventually we did it was interesting. The first game system that my mom let us get was the Wii.
Okay.
Which was like fairly next gen console as far as like, you've got the weird like motion
We have
control
wireless
thing.
stuff happening. And
Yeah.
You can move around. It's all interactive.
Yeah, it was kind of that next
I had a
step.
Wii as well, yeah.
The Wii was cool, man. And then I got really into Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
And Guitar Hero was the bomb.
Don't like Guitar Hero.
I'm sure you don't.
Oh, I actually suck at it. It's harder to play some of those songs on Guitar Hero than it is in real life.
I'm sure.
I promise you.
Oh, I'm sure it is. No, it was funny because me and Macy actually kind of briefly talked about this. Because like I was saying, if I spent as much time trying to learn Guitar Hero, I for sure would have been pretty decent at the guitar.
Oh, I believe that.
But like Guitar Hero, it's so linear. Like there's only the 5 buttons. You don't have to like do any movement like across
string,
the neck. So you're only going up and down, and you're barely going up and down. You're just moving like one finger, pinky, and front finger like up and down a little bit.
Yeah.
And so Guitar Hero was my jam. But a lot of my friends that play guitar would always say that like I'm way better at normal guitar than Guitar Hero, and I'm 100% comfortable with that. And I would just be like, all right, bro, but can you play Through the Fire and Flames, though? Like, I don't think so.
Whoop-de-whoop-de, bro.
Whoop-de-doo, bro. I can play it on hard. The Wii was an interesting game system. But one thing I did get to play, though, was my neighbor. He gave me a Game Boy Color. He just gave it to me.
One? The little, yeah.
The Game Boy Color. And it was because he and his brother both had Game Boy Advances. And so they didn't really need the color anymore because you could play the color games with the Advance. So he was like, you can just have this. And I went out to GameStop and bought Pokemon like a used version of Pokemon and bought that. So that was my video gaming as a child was mostly done on a Game Boy Color.
Right on.
Playing a lot of Pokemon.
Right on. That's awesome.
Did you play Pokemon?
Honestly, I didn't. All my friends played Pokemon.
Were you just not into it, or did your parents not like it?
Yeah, growing up, it was kind of like, don't play that game kind of thing early years, and I never got into it, which is weird. I don't know why, because now there's like series on it and movies and Smash. I love Pikachu. I love Pokemon. I love the idea. I just, growing up as a child, I didn't get involved with it.
I was so young when I first got interested in it because I collected the cards too, and I got the little like Pokemon book, and the way they were describing Pokemon, I thought it was real. Like
really?
I wasn't sure. Like I knew, I had a feeling. I was like, wait a second, I know Pokemon aren't real, but like the way they were describing it in the thing and like how deep they go into detail with stuff, they're like, you know. Doug Trio like to hang out in mud pits. Be careful.
You're like, where do they find this information out?
Yeah. I'm like, whoa, they do? Like, you know? And so I don't know. I had this weird thing where I was like, I knew they weren't real animals, but I was like, did someone like artificially create Pokemon? And then, because they even say in the books like they were created in a lab. Like Pokemon
like,
were
so
created
somewhere it's real.
So, like, it's somewhere, like maybe in Japan, they're like, real. Like, you know, it's always the legend. It's like people would talk about like, yeah, bro, over in Japan, they already have 900 Pokemon. Over in America, we only have 100. It's crap, man. Like, it's stupid.
Like, wait, real life or digital?
Real life? Digital? Are we talking video games or real? Yeah, and so anyways, but what I didn't understand was those tips are like helpful for the game, but I didn't have the game, so I didn't like understand it. So anyways. That's a whole nother thing. But anyway, so when you were homeschooled, once you're done with your assignments, you're playing Mario Kart, freaking Super Smash Bros. Battlefront.
When time allowed, yeah.
And playing guitar too?
Playing music.
Were you playing guitar like for fun, or was your mom making you do lessons?
Early on, it was, you need to practice because I'm paying for these lessons. And I'm like, okay, Mom, I'll learn Jingle Bells or whatever. And then
I learned Jingle Bells, Mom, get off my case.
I remember one year just learning a bunch of Christmas songs. It was like the middle of summer, and my teacher was having me learn like Christmas songs. I don't know why, but
maybe it was like so by the time Christmas rolled around, you could play a bunch.
Well, you know, I could. So I guess that's
pretty good, I guess.
Yeah.
But did they ever make you like when the family came over for Christmas, like play them a song?
Oh yeah, I mean they didn't force it, but it was kind of expected. Like
now I think
grandma's here, he's
Jingle Bell
gonna
Rock,
and it probably sucked. Actually, no, it did suck. It didn't probably suck. So yeah,
that's funny. Did you always sing too, or were you just guitar?
You know, I think I did in front of my family. No, I don't know. I was never like the most confident in my voice. Always kind of embarrassed by it until teenage years, I guess.
Why? What is it about singing that's so vulnerable? Like I don't even want to sing. And I know I can carry a tune. I'm by no means a great singer, but I know that I can like somewhat sing and not sound terrible.
Yeah.
Like I can play Guitar Hero and sing. Like, you know.
Right. It's all fun and games, and you're just singing for fun. Like at work, you know, I'll just
or singing in the shower or whatever.
And it's kind of cute or whatever. Or being in the car, sing along with all your friends. But as soon as it's like, okay, perform something, you're like, oh.
It's like dance, monkey dance or something, and you're like,
people are judging me right now.
So what is it about that? It's so weird. Like we even though we ourselves probably know that like most of the people in the crowd can't sing that well either, but you're just like still like freaking out like if you have to sing in front of people or something. I
really don't know what it is.
Yeah, like I always admired people that would do like plays and musicals and stuff because it's like, geez, they're just like up there singing acting, killing it. I was just like too
honestly
timid.
Never had that self-confidence, never wanted to do that. Yeah. So props to those people.
Yeah, props to the theater kids out there that were singing out on stage. But so when did you, like you said in teenage years, that's when you started kind of singing?
Yeah, like I would do stuff at church and stuff, so that got me singing per se.
Gotcha.
And then like I would always
was that ever like nerve-wracking for you?
Yes, no. It's just more of like I know I kind of suck because like you're going through puberty and it's just awkward and can't really stay on pitch and
Jingle bell.
It was. I will say, growing up, it was whenever I played like in a live setting, it was always me doing like background vocals or something.
Okay.
And so I was always the guy that played guitar and would sometimes sing, or the mic would, like the sound guy probably turned me down. I don't know. But I was that guy. And in secret, I would, sing my heart out and write stuff. And
Nice.
yeah, I'd say I was that guy.
That's cool. So in secret, you were planning your release.
Yeah.
Of some
Even
music.
today, like, I still play at my church and stuff, and people are like, "Wait, you sing? I didn't even know. Wait, you really Sneepy? What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, kind of. I don't really know. Just have at it. I don't know.
Listen if you want to, I guess.
Right. I'm like, don't have any expectations.
No, but seriously,
So-
man, like, I'm not just saying this because you're sitting in front of me right now. I liked your music. Like,
Appreciate it.
if I would have listened to your music and not really liked it, I probably would have been like, I don't know,
Oh,
podcast maybe, like, because that's the thing is, I always want to be as transparent as possible on this podcast, and like, if I didn't like the music, I'd have a hard time being like chalking it up and being like, oh yeah, so blah blah blah.
Check out this crap.
Yeah. I'm gonna play you a steaming pile of crap, and yeah. No, but seriously, I liked it. And actually, before I was driving home from the gym earlier, and I was listening to it, and like one of your songs is like stuck in my head right now.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so I'm like,
Cool.
dang, that was good. That was catchy. That's a good song. It's stuck in my head. Obviously, it's good.
My work here is done.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for implanting your tunes into my brain. No, but yeah. So you were on stage, singing backup vocals, and then, like you were talking about, when did you decide like, okay, I'm gonna like do this EP. I want to release some music, stuff like that. Like, how did that
Sure.
come about? Because if people didn't even know you sing or whatever.
Yeah. Well, sometime during the whole background vocals, playing acoustic guitar on stage, I find out that there's this thing called electric guitars and pedal boards and amps, and that rocks my world for a couple of years. And through that, I don't know, that kind of inspired drums for me. So just like delay and stuff and percussive, all this cool stuff starts kind of
Like the meld of technology and live instruments and all that.
So it's gearing me towards like becoming a well-rounded musician. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? I can record something. Like, I have songs. Let's do it. I can do everything. And that's like when I'm 16 or 17. I'm like, I want to be the teenager guy who releases music. And that doesn't happen for years, obviously, because I don't know. Like you said, fear of what people would think, and
But
just
you were
actually having the equipment.
But you were still like kind of homeschooled at this point, right?
I
Through
was.
the co-op thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like also when you're in that, you're only seeing those peers like once a week. Obviously, you have your friends and stuff like that. Outside of that, you get kids in the neighborhood you probably hung out with, all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But I feel like if you, for example, like released an EP and you were at like a big high school, it would be easy for some kids to like bully you like every day and be like, oh, who's this guy or whatever. So I feel like kind of the fact that you kind of were doing your own thing already as far as being homeschooled, like maybe helped lend yourself to being more comfortable, like putting yourself out there, because you could kind of control when you had to see people that might be judgmental or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that
That's
overstepping it?
No, that's good.
I don't know. I try to like analyze that sometimes because I'm like, I try to analyze sometimes why someone will step out of their comfort zone versus why someone else won't. Because, for you, putting out an EP is like, even though that's something you wanted to do, it's still like stepping out of your comfort zone. You could have just as easily not done it.
Right. And I won't say that I didn't try. Like, honestly, I do remember at like the age of 14 or 15, I had this little, it was like a, what's the kids' toys, Fisher? Like,
Fisher Price?
yes.
Something like that, yeah.
One of those was like a little recording. You put a tape in there and it records.
Oh, I had one
And
of
I was
those.
like, oh
with
my
the little
gosh.
big, the fat colored buttons on the top.
Yes, with the microphone.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm going to record something. And it sounded really bad. And I was like, this can't work. And then I remember...
That's actually a pretty like cool piece of technology.
They were cool.
Though.
I mean,
you
I will
could straight
say-
up record to a tape. Like that's
yes,
cool.
That still is amazing. I remember showing it to people. I actually was proud of it for a couple weeks. And then I showed it to a friend or something, and I was like, this is terrible. And I'm like, oh, cool. Thanks. So like little things like that, I would, like when I had my computer for school, I didn't have a MacBook. I had an HP or something. And so I got like, I looked online for free recording software, and got this program called Audacity, which I'm sure everyone's used.
Yeah.
Which
it's actually like pretty decent for being free. Like,
right,
you know,
it does a job.
it's pretty powerful. It doesn't look very pretty when you download it. It looks very like Windows 95.
Not the most user-friendly and pretty basic.
A lot of podcasters use Audacity, actually.
I mean, you just need a record button, then you're great, you know?
Exactly.
I
I'm
just
too
didn't...
good for Audacity.
Go Audacity.
No, but Audacity is cool. It's free and it works. So you were using that to record?
Kind of. I would mess around with that. It wasn't very good, and I couldn't stay on tempo or anything. It's like trying to record stuff and realizing how bad I am, and then working on, tempo or pitch, or like listening back on my guitar licks. Oh, this isn't good or whatever. And it kind of brought me to 18, 19, where I got into school and needed a new computer, so I bought a Mac, and then, this has GarageBand. Let's mess around with GarageBand. Let's tinkle with this for a little bit. And that grew into like, there's other software like Logic. That's what I use. And,
nice.
Actually getting a microphone and interface and getting speakers. I'm not doing this on my computer, speakers, so I can hear the bass and everything. And I'll have to say, like, it's been a process. I've been trying, per se.
What was, just out of curiosity and for people listening, because I'm sure there's people out there that are curious about this, or they're like, maybe they're kind of interested in what it takes to do that. So you said you got like an interface, you upgraded your computer, obviously, you got Logic, you got some speakers. Like, what would you say is like a good beginner setup,
if
or
you
like what you were getting?
Release your own project, honestly, I would say that all you need is you need your computer, you need your software, your recording software, you need the interface to get all the instruments and microphones into.
What were you using at the time?
I was using a Focusrite, like a 2i2. It's literally like $150.
Nice.
And still have that guy. It's awesome. You need a microphone.
Yeah.
You need your guitar. And I would say that monitors are really nice because you can really, if you're going to be mixing your own stuff, which I'm sure if you don't have a budget or you don't have a lot of money, like that's what you want to do, that's the best route.
Yeah,
you can get by with, minus the computer, like under $1,000. Obviously, the computer will cost more, but...
That's cool. Yeah, I feel like, some people are just always looking for recommendations too for equipment. You know, like, where do I get started? What do I actually need? Because like you said, it's like, what do you actually need versus what do you ideally want?
Right. If I could have, a $1 million room with all these nice equipment and analog compressors, sure, that'd be awesome. I'm not there yet. I want to get there,
Yeah, of course.
Like, I don't honestly, like, some of my songs didn't have real drums. Like, I just used a USB keyboard and just sampled some stuff, and arranged it. And that's what I could afford. It's what I could do with my time, and it worked, for me.
Of course. And to the untrained ear, like for me, if you wouldn't have said that, I would have never like even questioned it.
Yeah. So
which is a testament to how good like technology is getting as far as creating instruments. But anyways, sorry I interrupted in asking about your equipment, but you're saying you upgraded your equipment and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I guess like I had all the equipment per se when I was 18 or 19. In terms of like my computer and able to actually do stuff in Logic or GarageBand. And for like 2 years I spent time like, I'm going to release something, I'm going to do something. My friends are like, you're not, because you say that and then you don't do it. And I still live with him, my roommate. Well, he just got married, but this guy named Luke Simonet. Shout out to Luke, because he was getting so frustrated with me. He just was like, you need to release something. You've been saying it for years. And if you don't do it, I'm going to raise rent and I'm going to mess up your car. And it was just really funny. But I realized like, man, I am putting this off. I'm not doing it. I'm almost 20 years old. At this point, I was, 19. And I had this goal. I was like, before I turn 20, release something. And that's actually what the EP is called, 20 years. And it's actually, it's my birthday. I turned 20 this year. And that's kind of the story.
Nice. Did you release it on your birthday or was
I wanted to. That was the goal. It didn't quite happen.
Dang.
But I didn't chicken out. I still did it. Like,
when is your birthday?
August 29th.
August 29th.
And it came out
exactly 2 months ago? 3 months ago?
Exactly?
November 29th.
Is it really?
It is.
That's so funny. Wow. Yeah.
I only knew that because I was thinking about it earlier because my birthday is May 28th.
Okay.
And exactly 6 months ago.
Yesterday.
Yesterday was when I launched the podcast on my birthday.
So you did it on your birthday?
Yeah, which is fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's kind of a little growth hack because I released it on my birthday. So like the night before, I like changed my profile picture to the logo for the podcast and like changed my banner or the cover photo, whatever it's called on Facebook, said like Andrew Deitch podcast, available on all platforms, whatever. And so I kind of growth hacked it where like if people, there's a lot of traffic to your Facebook page on your birthday.
Right.
So like a lot of people are going to your to your page to wish you happy birthday. So it's kind of like, oh, what is
podcast,
this?
yeah.
So like kind of like
yeah.
got a little bit of traction from that, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, it's kind of a fun thing to release on your birthday. But that's cool that you named your album 20 years because it's about like what you've experienced, right?
Yeah.
For your first 20 years.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. So so that was like earlier this year. You were saying like you're 19, you haven't released it yet. When did Luke say that he was going to do all that stuff? Was that like last year?
No, it was actually, well, back in May, I had written all these songs. That's when all the songs on the EP were written. And I was going to start and try to do it and finish it by, I think January is my deadline or something. And
just like a self-set deadline.
Yeah. And he was like, you need to do it by your birthday. So technically I missed the deadline, but at that point, everything was like in process. So he realized it was coming out. So we had a mutual understanding and it was all good. But
that's cool though that your friend kept you accountable.
Yeah. You need people like that in your life.
You definitely need people like that in your life. Because I'm the biggest, like for me, I will let myself down all the time. Like you were saying, it's like, I've been telling myself I'll do this.
I'll do it here. And
I'll do it. And that's what I like about, I've said this a lot, but you know, when you're creating music, it's like, especially an electronic artist or someone like yourself that's creating it all by yourself, it's like, you know, no one's really like patiently waiting for this. No one's like clamoring, begging for it yet, you know, because they haven't even heard it. So, and you know, unless you're like fully established, like obviously, like if once you reach that level, there will be people that are like, we need new music from Isaiah.
Deadlines. There we go. Yeah.
Where's the music? But you know, for me, like starting this podcast was something that I'd toyed around with for a while, and then I finally decided to do it. But the cool thing is like every episode, I'm making it with someone else. So like I kind of feel that internal pressure of like to release it, because like if we recorded this today and then I didn't put it out for like a year, that would be pretty depressing for you, because like like I'm talking about all this stuff that like
won't be relevant.
Won't even be that relevant. Sure. Like I released this album 20 years, now I'm 21. Like what the heck, bro?
Right, exactly.
Now I'm already working on this new thing, and like I don't even like that music anymore. You know, whatever it might be. So many things change over the course of a year. And so that's why I kind of like doing the podcast thing, because like I get to be creative with it, but I also kind of feel that fire under my ass of like, I've got to put this out because this person's kind of like waiting, and I want to support them and stuff like that.
Accountability. We're being accountable to each other right now.
We're being so accountable,
gosh,
bro.
Dude.
This is great. This is so great. No, but yeah, and to go back, like I was originally doing these like kind of weekly update things where it was just me, and then I kind of fell off the bandwagon with that because I'm like, I don't need to do it.
Right.
But also, I don't know how many people cared about them. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. So so that was like back in May, you were like, I'm gonna do this, and then you released it in like August, at the end of August or beginning of September.
Actually came out in October, technically.
Okay, gotcha.
It was
so like very recent.
Yeah, it was
awesome.
Finished by August, the end of August. But then I realized like you need a month to mix it and master it and all these things that I learned a lot through the process.
Of course.
But yeah, it came out in October.
Awesome. So it's been like a month.
Yeah.
2 months almost.
About a month.
How does it feel?
Feels good. It's really funny because I've spent my life kind of scared to do this and release it, and as soon as I released it, I'm already planning like 2 other projects. I just recorded another EP with a friend from church. My girlfriend has a single coming out that I helped her with, and now I feel less pressure because I'm like, I've already done this. Let's do it. Let's pump out songs. Let's go. So
nice.
Since then, it's actually been like new projects and the next thing and shows and all that kind of stuff.
That's really cool, man. And when you put something out as well, I think you're always afraid of what people are actually going to think. But for the most part, I would say, in my experience, you're going to get like overwhelming support like from your friends and stuff like that. Like when you put it out, did you get like a lot of cool messages of like people saying
I was so surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because you think all these weird things in your head of like, are people going to like this? I don't know. But like your friends want to support you.
It wasn't even just my friends. Like it was people that I had met once or twice that are like mutual friends, and they would message me and I'm like, this is so cool. Like who knew that people would be supportive? And yeah, in some ways, people outside of my, close friend group were even more supportive of it.
That's so cool, man. Yeah, I definitely can relate in a way. When I mentioned that I went to college for 1 year, and when I dropped out, I made a YouTube video called "Why I'm Dropping Out of College."
Oh, nice.
And mainly it was just out of necessity because I was just getting tired of everyone like I knew that there was going to be this wave of people asking me, and at the time I was working with a company where I wanted like leads too, so I wanted people to kind of be curious about what I was doing. So I made this video, and I mean it kind of blew up. And like you said, like even people that were outside of that circle that I barely knew, maybe we were just Facebook friends or whatever, like messaging me like, "Yo, man, I'm really psyched for you. Like, I would be totally scared to do something like that. Like, my parents would kill me," or like, whatever it might be. And lots of people were super, super supportive. And same thing happened when I released the podcast. Like, people were very, very, very supportive. Because I think most of the time people are just curious. And then once they realize that it doesn't completely suck, they're like, "Wow, that was cool."
Cool. This isn't garbage. Yeah, like I'll listen to this.
Because I think anyone's gonna, especially if they somehow even know you, there's gonna be like that little bit of leeway that they'll give you as well. Like even if it does kind of suck,
I know this guy. This is so cool.
Yeah. Like, because to be honest, like I didn't know you before today, but I knew. I mean, we just messaged back and forth on Instagram, and then I listened to your music. But like when I was just driving along, I kind of was just zoned out. I like had forgotten that I was listening to your music, and I just found myself like, oh wow, like, oh yeah, this is the guy that I'm going to be talking to later. Like, this is good. Like, this is cool. Yeah. Like, and so that's always kind of a fun thing because I was talking. I don't know if you know a guy named Alex Guthrie. He
yes, I do.
Yeah, I had him on the podcast. He's a cool guy, and we were talking about how like fans versus friends kind of thing. Like, how does it feel like knowing that there's people out there that you kind of don't really know besides like through them coming to your live shows and stuff, like they're kind of your fans. And he was like, I never really even thought about it that way, but it's kind of true. Like sometimes people are just genuine fans. They don't even know you.
It is a weird idea, but yeah.
That people can like this thing that you put out without even knowing or liking you per se.
Yeah. They just connect to the music or the podcast, and they feel like they know you really well because like your heart, like all your stuff's on the podcast, or all my music's out there and my story's out there. And it's weird it's almost like it's weird that they know you better than you probably know them, Very true. It's humbling, and it's
very true.
Awesome.
And that's what's kind of weird about putting out content. Like, because like you said, it's like you were able to connect with these people that you wouldn't even necessarily have connected with. Right. But since you decided to put the effort in and, pour your heart and soul into making this thing, people like respond positively to that. And like, who knows where those types of things can lead. Yeah. Which is dope. Because like, I like to always say, like, just try to be creating something, like, regardless of what it is. Try to be, like, putting something out, doing something. Because, like, for example, if you listen to the podcast with Macy, but you hadn't put out this EP, you probably wouldn't have been like, oh, let's talk. I'm putting out an EP soon. I've been thinking about it for 3 years, and it's going to be cool once I put it out. But, like, there's a lot of that going on in the world where there's all this, like, aim,
but no
and
pulling the trigger.
Exactly, and no pulling the trigger. And like, you can read all the books you want, you can learn all you want about making music, you can take lessons forever.
Spend so much time preparing or saying you're gonna do something, or we're working on it, like, but if you don't actually do it, you're not going anywhere. So many times in my life, like, I've been kind of known to play music or whatever, and people would be like, so like, where do I find your stuff? And for years that was the question. And I'm like, I am working on it. And that just doesn't go anywhere, So now it's like, oh, check this out. At least it's something out there, and you get an idea,
Yeah, of course.
So you're absolutely right. I think just releasing stuff and staying on top of it and having something, constantly is awesome.
Yeah.
One thing I respect, just to go back about Macy, like, I love her strategy of like releasing a song. She's doing it kind of like, I guess, every 2 or 3 months, and it keeps me like engaged. It keeps fans engaged, and it's something new coming out. It's not overwhelming, but it's like one idea at a time. So
yeah, I love that too, because like my friend, I had my friend Cece on the podcast, and he's like obsessed with this idea of an album, like making this cohesive thing.
Sure.
He's very like married to that idea because like growing up he loved albums, and it's like now we're in this culture where it's like the attention span is so short and you gotta, I feel like nowadays, in order for an artist to stay afloat, like, you also somehow have to be attached to who they are as a person slightly as well. Like, back in the day, you might not even know anything about Madonna or whatever, but you really liked her music because it was on the radio and it was popular and everyone listened to it. But nowadays, who knows if Madonna would have made it? Because what if she's a crappy person? Like like who knows if she's cool? I mean, obviously Madonna's cool. I feel like she made it. She's awesome.
Did,
but back in the day, if she was just starting out, it's like who knows? I don't know.
Yeah,
it's very, very weird. The climate that we're in, you kind of have to wear your heart on your sleeve and like put out stuff that people can feel attached to as a person. Which is weird, very, very weird. But I wanted to ask you. So when you were like choosing the songs for your EP, was that like all this? Obviously, it wasn't like every song you'd ever made. How did you choose the ones you actually wanted to put out? Was it just like your favorites or like?
Yeah, it was a mixture of a couple things. Obviously, I've had songs I've been writing for years, songs that I still want to produce and record and stuff. In this particular situation, I tried to go with songs that were the most finished, like through the software, because I have like hundreds of ideas in GarageBand or Logic, but like there was 4 or 5 that I'm like, this is really close to being done. Like let's just finish it, So that was mainly like my strategy, was taking songs that way didn't take too much time, and then just fine tuning it here and there.
Nice. I feel you on that because I've always been curious as to how people choose the songs for a release, because it's like obviously you've probably written a lot of songs that you choose to not use or whatever. Also all of them they all revolved around relationship I was going through that year, so that also inspired it. And then having songs that were already written from that place, and then writing new stuff on top of it, just makes a lot of sense. Very cool. One of the songs on there, I think it's Away, right? That's the name of one of the songs?
Yeah.
It really reminded me of like Coldplay. Is Coldplay like...
Dude, Coldplay is one of my favorite bands.
Okay, yes. I was going to say.
That means so much to me. That you know anything about me and you asked if I liked Coldplay. I love Coldplay.
That's cool. Yes. Yeah, because I got the Coldplay vibes for sure on that song in particular. And I had a feeling that was like an inspiration, because I was like, it definitely...
Yes.
That's really cool, man. I'm glad I was able to like pick that out.
I feel like when it comes to inspiration, there's bands that like are inspiring you currently, and then there's bands that have stood the test of time that you always go back to. And Coldplay is like one of those bands that like every time I can go back and I can always pull something new away from it, which is so rare.
What would you just like this? I hate to be like interviewee. I keep feeling like I'm firing questions.
No, you're
at
good.
You, but
totally good.
Like if you were gonna describe your music, because I'm so bad at like describing what music is.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, it's kind of like this, but also kind of like this. I don't know.
With a little sprinkle of this and.
Yeah. What would you say genre wise or whatever? How would you describe it?
Yeah. So the thing about me is like I have this Sci-Fi Sun project, and I have this duet project that I'm working on, and I have, who knows, like it depends on the day. I could, it's like, if you're asking about Sci-Fi Sun, I think that's going to be this blend of like pop and rock, and I mean, I love Coldplay. Everyone's kind of pulling from that. As an individual, my music is whatever way the wind blows that day. Like there's some days I want to write a rock song. There's some days I want to write a movie soundtrack. There's some days where I'm feeling some acoustic stuff, and then some days I just want to make the next pop song, Mm-hmm. So it really, I feel like even the EP is kind of, you can't really gauge what it is or where it is, because there's like an acoustic song, then there's like this pop, Waste is like a Coldplay, Head Full of Dreams, Ghost Stories kind of thing, and then there's, I don't know, Bright, I don't know if you heard that song. That's
I listened to all the songs.
Super pop.
Yeah, Bright is definitely more pop. That was like the third song on the EP,
second
right?
song. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, second song. Yeah, that one is definitely like from the beginning very like poppy and upbeat, like from the beginning. I like that one though.
Thanks.
My favorite song is Alibi. I really like that one.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Alibi is there's not a lot of electronic stuff going on, but it has Danielle, my girlfriend right now, on there, and that was kind of inspired by, I don't know if you know Oh Wonder. Just kind of following like the guy girl duet, but no harmony, just all melody stuff. So that song, love that song. So it's hard to say, because that's like all acoustic, like guitars, like acoustic drum set. like acoustic piano, and then other songs are, let's throw an 808 on here, and so
Yeah.
it's hard to gauge what the music is, but at the end of the day, I just want it to conceptually engage people, like engage the human heart, and have it be, like have you able to connect with it really well, That's the goal.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I feel like that's what most true artists would want out of their music, hopefully. Yeah. We talked a lot about music. I wanted to talk to you about your GoFundMe thing that you put up of traveling. Are you still doing it? What's going on?
I am still traveling. I'm not going to do a GoFundMe.
You're not going to do the GoFundMe?
No.
Okay, so you took the GoFundMe down.
I did, as a matter of fact.
Why did you make the choice to not do a GoFundMe? That's interesting.
Very personal thing. No, it's good. It's good. I don't know. It's one of those things where I have this internal compass, and I put this thing out there. I was like, hey, help me, give me money to go do something I want to do. Go do a trip. And if it was like, I don't know, if like my uncle had cancer or something, or trying to help pay bills, I wouldn't feel as bad. But like, you know what? I need to budget my money better. I need to work harder. I need to earn that trip. That's just what I felt. And
nice.
People like Luke called me out and they're like, hey, I think, think about like where your heart is in this situation. Like, are you accepting a hand? I'm not calling out people who do GoFundMes. They're awesome. There's
a time and place for GoFundMe.
There is. And for me, where my heart was at, I was just kind of accepting a handout from people. And I was like, you know what? No, that's not Isaiah Ram. Isaiah Ram, like, he works for his stuff and he earns it, and I'm going to enjoy that trip more if I pay for it myself.
Totally.
And it's just stuff like my dad's instilled in me, and that's why I was taken down. I was like, you know what? This doesn't settle with me. I feel uneasy about it.
Yeah, I totally feel you. Yeah, GoFundMe sometimes like rubs me the wrong way a little bit, where like people are like, I've wanted to go to this thing for so long. Like, for example, I'll see it all the time in Facebook groups, like where people want GoFundMes to go to like a music festival. Like, it's always been my dream to go to Coachella, and like GoFundMe, and I'm like, it's been my dream too,
right?
Like I want to go to Coachella. No one in this group is gonna give me money, you delusional turd. Like,
I mean, it's just like, in reality, 10 years from now, I have a family. I'm not gonna GoFundMe so I can go on a family vacation. Like, that's just not the way the world works. Like,
yeah, exactly.
And I don't know.
I feel you, man.
I'm pretty passionate about it. I don't like to call people out. Some people do them, but
no, it's cool. Like, and we can. I mean, if you're listening to this right now and you have a GoFundMe, like, hopefully it's for a good reason. Like,
right.
Hopefully, like, the fact that you took yours down will like spark something, because that's kind of cool, man. Because
like, if people want to support me and like help me, like family is like, hey, I heard you're going on a trip. Like, let me give you some money. That's totally awesome. But for me to be like, my heart was in the place where I'm like, oh, I'm expecting to pay for the trip with this, is like not the right mindset to go into. And so I just felt kind of convicted on that.
That's cool, man. That's really cool that you were able to kind of make that realization, because, most people, I feel like a lot of people kind of would have that reaction as well. Like, am I just paying for him to go goof off in Europe or whatever?
Right. Exactly.
But so what is the trip though? So you're going on a big trip. What are you still going?
So I'm still in school actually. I'm a junior. I go to GGC, Georgia College. And
go
I'm a business
Grizzlies.
Major. Go Grizzlies, I guess.
Isn't that their thing, Grizzlies?
It is. I don't.
Do they have a sports team of any kind?
Honestly, this is going to sound really bad. I don't know.
I feel like they have a basketball team. They gotta have a basketball team.
I don't think they have a basketball team.
They don't?
They have a baseball field, so I'm guessing they have baseball.
Go Grizzlies baseball.
It might be them. Go Grizzlies. I know that for sure. There's definitely Grizzlies somewhere in there, and we'll go with that.
That's hilarious. Anyways, I went and toured there when I was looking for colleges, so.
Okay, yeah.
It's a good school.
I went to UGA for a semester, and then I couldn't afford it, so then I came back home.
Nice.
So it is what it is.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Sick 'em, yeah.
Go Dogsleys.
Yes.
Grizz Dogs. Anyways.
Yeah, so the trip, so I'm a marketing major, and the trip is basically me going for a month to, Belgium, Switzerland, and France. And
nice.
It's only for 3 weeks, I think, and it gets me 6 credits, which is incredible. It's unheard of.
6 credits. What does that equal to, like, in classes?
That's like almost 3 or 4 classes, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, so it's like, if you're taking 4 months of school, you can do it in 3 weeks. I'm gonna do that for sure.
Yeah, that's legit, and you get to go to Belgium.
Exactly, you need to go
France.
travel. So I was like, I'm just gonna do that. That's
super
awesome.
dope. But you're like
year.
taking classes the whole time, or?
Yeah, I don't really know what the classes entail.
But you're like, dope, I'm getting 6 credits and I get
Exactly.
to travel, son.
Exactly. I'm sure it'll be pretty chill because you're gonna be like out of the country and stuff. So I'm not sure what the expectation is, but either way, it'll be fun because you're out of the country.
Studying abroad is generally like a pretty joke. Like, not saying that anyone who's studied abroad hasn't had any hard classes.
It really is.
But most of the time, it's a joke.
Yeah.
And it's a good way, most of the time, I'm not saying this is your case, but most of the time it's a great way to get your mom and dad to pay for your trip abroad.
Right, because, it's education,
It's mom!
Yeah.
Yeah, and most parents are happy to pay for it. But that's cool that you were, like, wanting to pay for it yourself, and, you had the idea of the GoFundMe, but then you decided not to, all that.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Have you gone overseas before?
I haven't.
First time.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very exciting.
I haven't really been to Switzerland. I think I was technically on... No, I lied. I've touched Switzerland soil.
Okay.
Because I...
Like a layover or something?
No, it was... I went to the Lake Como. If you have the chance. One of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my entire life.
Really? Okay. Lake Como.
Famous, famous things about Lake Como. George Clooney has a house there. And... it's the place where they shot the scene where Anakin and Padme, who is it?
Padme,
they had their first kiss in episode 2.
It's Natalie Portman.
Yeah. Where they had their first kiss. They're like on that beautiful thing, and there's all those sick like mountains on this lake. That's where they shot it.
What is it?
Lake Como.
Como.
Como. And there's this place called Via Balbianello, I think is what it's called. Okay. That's where they shot that, is in that place. So if you go to Lake Como, you have to go to Via Balbianello as well.
Cool.
It's really cool.
Right on.
Anyways, it's like really southern. It's like basically, the lake actually divides Italy and Switzerland. So you'd have to be in like southern Switzerland. But anyways, Switzerland's cool. France is pretty cool. I only went to Paris for like 4 days. Paris is cool. Are you going to Paris?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. And Belgium is freaking awesome. Belgium's probably my favorite.
Really? Okay.
I love Belgium.
That's like, to
Belgium
me,
is super dope.
That's the one that's I don't know the most about it. So.
Yeah. It's kind of like least known. I think that's why it makes it so dope, because it's like, they're just like a chill country. They're like,
Yeah. I don't really have any expectations, so that's probably why.
They speak French and Dutch and English, like most people, and sometimes German too.
Okay.
Like on the plane, like when you're flying there, they'll do all the announcements in French, English, and Dutch, I think. Or maybe German. Can't remember. Like, so they'll do all the announcements like 3 times. It's so hilarious.
Wow.
But yeah, Belgium is super awesome. I love Belgium. And the Netherlands, if you get the chance.
Okay.
Because they're like really close. Belgium is like right underneath the Netherlands. But anyways, you're going to have a lot of fun on that trip.
Yeah.
When is it? Next summer?
It's May.
In May. Nice. So like 6 months from now.
It is.
Craziness. And are you taking you're a marketing major, so you're not I didn't know that. So I thought for whatever reason I just assumed you were doing music stuff.
Music. No, I wish that's the dream.
But you have to market your music, so marketing
but I need to pay rent.
Good.
So
and you also need to pay rent.
I need to have a future plan as well, just in case, So
what do you want to do?
Market.
What do you want to? I mean that's like the $1 million question. But everyone wants to know, man. What do you want to do with your marketing
definitely
degree?
I want to be Coldplay. That's the dream. At the end of the day.
With the backup plan. If you're not Coldplay, what could you want? If you're not Coldplay, who else did you want to be? I guess.
I guess in a realistic world.
Screw the realistic.
I'd be an astronaut.
Whoa.
I'm not even kidding. I love space.
Whoa.
If I could go to the moon, I think in the next 50 to 100 years, that's going to be a thing. Your average person, middle income, can probably go to the moon,
I
that'd be
can
awesome.
see it happening. SpaceX is making pretty big strides. Virgin Galactic is making pretty big strides.
Yeah. So
it's pretty fascinating stuff. I have not much desire to go to the moon, but it'd be, if the opportunity was afforded to me, I wouldn't be like, nah. It would be sweet. If someone was like, all right, man, you're going to take a vacation to the moon. My main thing is I want to go back. For sure. There's crazy people that want to go to Mars and die there.
Start a colony and
yeah, we got to start colonizing Mars. Who's the first?
Yeah.
No thanks, bro. I'm good. I'll hang out here on Earth. and die a happy death, probably, instead of dying like of oxygen starvation or whatever that's called.
Right.
Suffocation? I don't know. What's it called when you lose it? Oxygen depletion?
That's more like it.
I don't know.
It sounds technical.
Sounds very technical. I'm an astronaut, everyone.
So that's the dream, obviously. If I
the
could.
dream. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
The backup dream, you know. As a kid, that was the dream. So I'm just gonna cling to that.
Yeah. In your spare time, do you like look at space stuff?
No. I mean, I wish I could, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, not necessarily as a career thing, but like...
If there's a hashtag on Instagram that leads me to stars and galaxies and planets, then I'll follow them for a while. So that's fascinating.
Yeah. Space is an interesting subject.
I do like keep up with, like, you know, Facebook will tell you like certain events are happening. Whenever they're like, the new meteor shower tonight, stay up and watch it. I'm that guy. It's like, oh, I'm going to go do this.
Do you have a sweet telescope?
I don't. I just go out in the country and just chill. Put down a blanket.
One of the coolest things is like going away from the city and looking up at the sky at night.
Oh, for sure.
Is weird.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah, we were just talking about Italy. My parents came and visited me when I was there, and we rented a car and like went around like Tuscany, like the countryside. Mm-hmm. And one night we were driving home from this like medieval village thing. I can't remember which one it was, but we were driving back to our little Airbnb, or it wasn't an Airbnb, it was a hotel. But anyways, we're driving back, and it was like super dark, and I just like happened to kind of look up and like see the stars. I'm like, whoa! And we were in the middle of the countryside, so there's nothing around, no lights at all. And we were like, let's just pull over and like look up
at the sky. Yeah.
So we pulled over. It was kind of scary. We like pulled over, just turned off the lights on the car, and it was pitch black, and you could see every star. It was like the coolest thing ever.
Could you see like the Milky Way and stuff?
Yeah, it was sick.
Yeah,
like you could see everything. It was one of the most beautiful things, and like. I don't know if you listen to Joe Rogan, but Joe Rogan, he's like, people want to go to space? Bro, we're in space. We're in a spaceship right now.
Yeah, there you go.
We're in a spaceship. We're in a convertible spaceship, dude. Look up. Like, you're in a convertible spaceship. Like, imagine if Earth, like, had a covering, except for like in one little spot you could see space. Like there was like a
window.
Like a window.
That
would be like one of the most visited places on Earth, like one of the wonders of the world. But everyone just takes it for granted because it's like, it's just the sky.
That's so. I never thought about that. That's so interesting. Yeah.
You know, like you can look up like we're in space, bro. Like we are.
Yeah.
We're just hurtling through space in a convertible spaceship. But like our brains don't want to think about that. Our monkey brains are like, nah, bro.
I need to make money and do school and
I need a bigger house.
Work my 9 to 5. Yeah, exactly. So people should look at the sky more often.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, because it grounds you.
Yeah.
You have to think about how tiny you are. People don't want to face the reality of how worthless their life really is.
Yeah, exactly.
They want to feel important, and then they're like, oh, wait, I'm just a speck in the universe.
Yeah.
And there's a lot out there. But, dude, I feel like we've gone for a while. We've recorded for an hour. I feel like this is a good place to wrap things up. Do you have anything that... Obviously, people should go listen to your EP. Typically what I do when I talk to musicians, what I've done in the past, is I'll play like a song in the beginning, a song at the end. So people will have already heard some of your music. I'm going to play them some more. But if they want to listen to your music, or if they want to... I was going to say go to your GoFundMe, but now that's not there. But if you want to just give Isaiah money so that he can go on his trip,
yeah.
He would not turn you down, but his Venmo is... No, I'm just kidding.
Cash at me at.
No, but seriously, if you want to shout out anybody or plug anything, where can people find your music, all that stuff?
Yeah, so it's everywhere. It's Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, wherever your medium is. Like the distributor.
Even on SoundCloud.
Yeah, SoundCloud. Noise Trade. It's everywhere.
Getting hipster.
I guess so. That's what people like. Gotta be everywhere.
Yeah, that's good. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's called Sci-Fi Sun. That's
Sci-Fi
the band
Sun.
name with the little dash. People always forget that. So
Sci-Fi Sun.
Yes, sir.
There we
Sun
go.
with an EU because people thought it was like sons, like
father
son thing.
Like I didn't have a normal son. I had a sci-fi son.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not that. It's the planet, the star. It's the sun's a star. Yeah,
yes,
there
it
you go.
is.
See, it tied in, somehow.
Tied
I
in
didn't
there
plan
at the
that,
end.
but it did.
Wow. We planned that on purpose.
Yes.
Not really. Yeah, so go listen to Isaiah's music, Sci-Fi Sun, and anything else that, any other parting words of wisdom or parting, I don't know, anything you want to say?
Follow your heart, release stuff. Do it. Do a podcast. Do an album.
That's good advice. Put stuff out there, people. And people are always like, I'm not creative. Yes, you are.
Yes, you so are, yeah.
People come up, you're coming up with ideas right now. Just listening to this podcast, I guarantee you thought of something that you wanted to put out there and then you didn't. So freaking do it. Even if you think you suck, you probably don't suck as much as you think you do. And you can always improve.
Yeah.
You can get better at stuff. It's not like Isaiah was born with the musical gene. He got good at it.
Yeah.
And he started off playing Jingle Bells just like you did. And look at him now. He's released an EP and made all this music and awesome stuff. So that's good. That was good. I like
Thanks,
that.
man.
I like that last little bit. All right.
Thanks, dude. You're awesome.
Thanks, man.
This has been great.
Good. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as well. And we'll talk to you later, everybody. There you have it, folks. Put out cool stuff. Content is king. If this podcast had a lesson, if this was to teach you nothing else, just put it out there. Release the project. Do the thing. Who cares what anybody else thinks? Life is way too short. There you go. I'm all fired up. But I want to thank Isaiah again for being on the show and sharing his stories with us. Make sure you go follow him on Instagram. I'll have his profile linked in the show notes. Glad you stuck around. Hope you enjoyed hanging out with us. And like I said, I'm going to play another track from his new EP. But first, you might be thinking, hey, I really enjoyed that. Geez, Andrew's been killing it so hard. I don't even know where to start. He's been releasing so many podcasts, but never fear, I will give you a couple of recommendations. So if you enjoyed this podcast, you would probably also enjoy episode 57 with our friend Macy Todd, who I mentioned at the top of the show. She's a singer and songwriter. She has an amazing voice, and I've been listening to her music for the past couple of months, and she's been putting out some really great stuff. On her website bio, it says that she creates lush pop music that transcends both genre and time, and I agree. Go check it out, episode 57. It was a really great episode, and also, if you want to listen to another episode, if you really like listening to podcasts with musicians, I would also encourage you to listen to episode 22 with my friend Alex Guthrie, who was also mentioned in this podcast, but he is super famous. He's a musician, and he's a really awesome photographer, maybe even an even better photographer than a musician, and that's not to discredit his singing abilities, but it's just to highlight how good he is of a photographer. But you might recognize him from a nationally aired ad campaign he recently did with Jennifer Hudson for American Family Insurance. I keep seeing him everywhere, billboards, commercials, on the radio, on TV. It's really crazy that he's everywhere. He's doing a show with Kelly Clarkson this month. He's killing it. So go check out episode 22. It was one of my favorite episodes. All right, let's wrap this thing up. Episode 61 is coming out this week with my friend Connor Peterson. Connor is one of the most interesting people that I know. He's a total human optimization freak. His current obsessions include ninja training, skydiving, obstacle course races, learning the guitar, meditation, cryptocurrency, and much more. And Connor is no stranger to the show. He was already featured on episode 13, but since then he has gotten way more into skydiving, and it has completely changed his life. And actually, I got to go along with him on one of those skydiving jumps. It was pretty awesome. So we talked a ton about that. Cryptocurrencies, religion, politics, all kinds of fun stuff. But we had a great time. Can't wait for you guys to hear it. It is a standalone podcast. Like, you don't need to go listen to the other one. But if you want to know more about Connor, you should definitely go check out episode 13. It was a really good one. It's one of my favorite episodes that I've done. But all right, that's all I got. If you guys want to support the podcast, please please go share it with your friends. Maybe you know Isaiah. Maybe you have some other friends who know Isaiah, and you should say, hey, have you heard that podcast that Isaiah got featured on? It was really good. Go check it out. Also, biggest way you can help me is by going to iTunes, open it up on your computer, or go onto the Apple Podcast app on your phone if you have an iPhone, and go leave me a 5-star review. It really, 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 really goes a long way, and it takes like 2 seconds. I only have 50 reviews, and I've released 60 episodes, so come on. It's not even 1 review per episode. I know y'all love me more than that. And I know every single episode I ask for reviews, and it doesn't seem like anybody's listening. Maybe no one's listening this far into the podcast, but, it's really not too much to ask. I would really, really, really appreciate a review. It really goes a long way. I don't see who rates it 5 stars. I only see it if you write an actual comment on there. So if you don't want me to know who you are, I won't know. All you gotta do is put 5 stars. It really helps me out. But anyways, I'm going to shut up now and play you another song from Sci-Fi Sun's new EP, 20 Years. This song is called Bright. It's really upbeat, and I really enjoy it. Check it out, and I will catch you guys in the next one.
You keep running through my mind, and I can't stop it. Why would I try? The sun wakes up the world from night. Let's just say you're burning bright. But you're afraid of moving on. And I'm afraid that you could never love. Won't you come with me around the world and get outside your front door? Who said you're not enough? Who told you to strive? Who said the world is gray and black and white? I see colors, the hue in your eyes. I would take a bullet, I'd die for your life. When you laugh, you make me come alive. When you sing, those birds want to fly. I don't know why you're down inside, 'cause when you're around, my heart burns bright. You keep running through my mind, I can't stop it. Why would I try? The sun wakes up the world from night. Let's just say you're burning bright. Who said you're not enough? Who told you to strive? Who said the world is gray and black and white? I see colors, the hue in your eyes. I would take a bullet, I'd die for your life. When you laugh, you make me come alive. When you sing, those birds want to fly. I don't know why you're down inside, 'cause when you're around, my heart burns bright. When you laugh, you make me come alive. When you sing, those birds want to fly. And I don't know why you're down inside, 'cause when you're around, my heart burns bright.
I have an Apple MacBook, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
drop a beat. Yeah.